Fellow family, appreciate you clicking on the video. Now, I know it's been a minute since I made a video, and I've been wanting to get a new phone because the sound quality. You drop the phone in the water, and there's a little bit of static, and anything I post, I want it to be resonant, and sound quality is important because words are fundamentally simply energy, and I want that to be broadcast effectively. So that's one of the reasons I haven't made a video in a minute. But there's been a topic sitting with me that needs to express nonetheless. So I'm making a video now because I'm inspired to do so. For those men on the semen retention journey specifically, you're going to notice at a certain point your identity begins to shift progressively as you embark on this journey. You're going to notice that your sense of identity, when you're no longer identifying with the forms, the content of the world, the content of consciousness, you no longer objectify the world. Thus, you're not going to be identifying with the physical body. Unless there's black flies on you, man. I'm telling you. No enemies. I have no enemies, but black flies are definitely my nemesis. But, all I have to do is rid myself of black fly consciousness. I mentioned in the last video, kind of escape to that inner invulnerability, which we can do when we understand things and perceive the world energetically, in terms of energy, and especially ourselves. Now, I mention this because as you embark on this journey of semen retention, you're going to notice that you don't really identify with the physical body any longer. Even if you're very physically active, when you're working out, you're in a different mental space. I mentioned this in the last video as well, how there's the physical body, the mental body, the energy body, which is also known as the aura, the etheric body, the transcendent body, and then the bliss body, which is very close to the source of all that is around us. That which is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, beyond words, in everything, in this moment, inherent within you, me, the tree, the birds, the bees. It's expressing itself in terms of this universal energy around us. Now, this very cosmos is energy. If we embody a certain receptivity, open ourselves up to this energy around us, there'll never be a lack of energy for us, especially if we're living rightly, consciously, and staying committed to the semen retention journey. There's going to be a lot of energy in this body, in your body, and whoever commits to the journey, because that very essence is not being misused. Now, of course, there's pleasure every single moment. The pleasure of existence, of being this human experience. It's very pleasurable. If we learn to sit with ourselves and enjoy the stillness and enjoy the moment without being dependent on this or that or something outside of us. This human experience, this sense of existence, is very pleasurable by itself. Now, it's not to say outward pleasure is wrong, because of course there's a lot of modern aesthetics that may identify so heavily with awareness, that which is beyond the physical experience, that pure awareness that is really beyond words. And they identify with that so much that they may shun outer pleasure entirely of this sensory experience. Now, it's important to be balanced, because not all pleasure is bad. Of course, if you have a family, you have a wife and a son, and you're making intimate love with your significant other in a way where there really is no other, it's a form of yoga, union. You feel that you are each other in that intimate experience, so present in the moment. Of course, that's very pleasurable. But, of course, for this one, it's part of the lifestyle no sex at all. But, that's not for everybody. I understand that. I'm not trying to push that on anybody, saying, no, you should do this because I'm doing it. That's not the vibe. You're here to figure out what you want to do on your journey. And, that's true for me. It might not be true for somebody else. So, somebody might want to have a family. And, if they're going to have that experience with their wife, that's very pleasurable. It's a completely different experience than having a one-night stand or sleeping with somebody to try to extract or get some pleasure out of them, because you feel a sense of lack within yourself, so you try to search for that outside of yourself. Completely different mentality, and it's a completely different experience as well. One of trying to extract energy from somebody else, some pleasure, or however we may intellectualize it, rather than wanting to share your energy with somebody else in a beautiful, intimate experience. Sacred energy exchange. That's what sex stands for. That's what it means. It's meant to be an intimate experience, not something that you just kind of do willy-nilly. Oh, I'm feeling horny. I want to go have sex with somebody. That's not cool. Not cool at all. I know that may run contrary to popular belief or what society tends to normalize, but we really want to think beyond the mob mentality, you could call it. Beyond what everybody seems to be doing and thinking and acting like. We want to go within and discover what we're here for, and really go deep within and listen close. Listen to our inner voice. Listen to the presence. It speaks to us. That's why it's important to practice stillness, so that we can hear that voice within us. And committing to the semen retention journey will allow you to be in that state more often than not. And like I said, you'll naturally, over time, disidentify with the physical body, and you won't even really identify with your mentality, because you'll see everything in terms of energy. You'll be more inclined to identify with your energy body, your aura, because you'll perceive everything energetically. And you'll feel that sense of connectivity. And there'll be a heightened sense of sensitivity to the world around you, to the life around you. Life. That which we are. part of nature, an extension of nature. Simultaneously expressing ourselves as nature in terms of this three-dimensional human experience, but yet simultaneously beyond it. There's multiple aspects, dimensions to that which we can witness in terms of what is all around us, what is happening right now. And committing to the semen retention journey will allow you to actually witness these different aspects, these different dimensions, these different states of being, embody different levels of frequency, so that we can know it for ourselves. Because knowing something is being it. It's not accumulating it, gathering something from the outside and trying to make that a part of ourselves. Of course, that's one form of knowledge. Of which, society collectively has kind of conditioned us to think that that's it, to identify with our memory, our mental body, and think that, what I can gather from the outside and regurgitate, memorize, and that is what knowledge is, identifying with the intellect. But there's dimensions beyond that. And we really want to not only understand that conceptually, but understand certain practices like semen retention, like fasting, like meditating, that help us actually witness and embody, experience that which is beyond our mentality, so that we can start to gain access to these higher levels of awareness. To be the simple witness. The witness of what is, without labeling it. Just seeing the world all around us the way it is, without trying to change it, without trying to correct it. Seeing that it's perfect. Seeing that any perceived imperfection is actually a mental identification with something that is irrelevant to that which is perfect. Existence, creation, this vast field around us holds no imperfection. And any projection that we would label imperfection is simply a reflection of one's inner mental workings that is inharmonious. It's not in harmony with the world around it, because there's a sense of separateness, lacks that sense of sensitivity and connectivity. It doesn't identify with energy. It identifies with the physical body or its mentality. And in terms of the physical experience, of course, energy is still physical. Physical sound. Sound is a physical vibration. Everything is sound. So even as we identify with the energy body, it's still attached to physicality. But we're one step closer to experiencing, embodying, witnessing the etheric body, which is transcendent to the physical experience. That which we witness in the human realm. That's when we start to access higher levels of awareness, we could say the spiritual realms, the divine realms, beyond the physical experience. And it helps to understand that we could say everything is consciousness, everything is conscious of being, of existing at different levels of awareness. That same God presence is inherent within everything, within all, animate or inanimate. And this vast creation field around us is expressing as it is, completely harmonious, and we identify with the field rather than the content of the field. We don't identify with particular forms and separate them intellectually, but we understand that it's all expressing simultaneously as one, and we don't just understand that conceptually, but we also, as a result of committing to certain practices, we witness that. And once we do, once you realize something, even if it's just a split second, a moment, you can never unsee something. And that's where wholehearted surrender comes into play, to surrender the illusion of a separate personal identity in this reality. To not just understand that intellectually, that I am not the body, I am not the mind. We want to experience that experientially. We want to know it for ourselves. We don't just want to listen to somebody else and, it's listen to what they've experienced, because, it may be true for them and we might have faith in them. We might understand or really resonate with what they're saying. But in order for us to understand it, likely the person communicating it is not just trying to appeal to your mind. They're expressing it because they want you to witness that for yourself as well. Identify with the field, all that's around you, rather than breaking it up as if it were separate, as if you were separate from it, because you're not. And I'm here to tell you that because I know that. I've witnessed that for myself. That which I can call myself, which, when I say that, I am not saying that in terms of this body, which is a boundary. The physicality for many of us humans seems to be a boundary. My experience ends here with the sensory experience, with the five senses, but there's something beyond that, and that's why I make this video. There's many different ways to communicate that, and throughout the millennia, those humans, which we can label whatever, mystical, spiritual, transcendental, whatever, we can label them whatever, but essentially they've witnessed something for themselves that they wish to express somehow, so that it inspires those that may hear it to break their limitations. And it may be uncomfortable, and that's okay. When we don't identify with the body, with our physicality, we're going to be fearless. That root chakra, the emotion associated with that is fear. So once we transcend that earth element up to the sacral chakra, the water element, which is more feminine in nature, which is absolutely non-resistant, completely free-flowing, effortless. We can say that people who embody that element, that sacral chakra, is fully alive within them, within their energy body, within their chakra system. They are naturally non-resistant, and nothing in the world can resist an absolutely non-resistant person. They embody grace. So as we transcend fear, we rise up to the next level, the next frequency. You want to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And we can understand it intellectually, but we want to embody it. We want to access these different levels within ourselves. Now, I say levels, but that doesn't mean a hierarchy. It doesn't mean that somebody who's embodying a higher frequency is better than somebody else, because, like I said, everything is... I seem like a... I don't know if you can see them, the flies, man. I'm telling you that. It's easier to go into that space where they don't bother you with your eyes closed. But when you're, as I'm speaking now, I'm in the physical body. I'm using mentality to speak, so you're kind of at a different frequency accordingly. But when you close your eyes, at least for me, it's easier to kind of escape into that. Into this eternal moment, which is ever present. It's that which is all pervading and ever present is always with us. And when you commit to this human attention journey, you'll naturally feel that within you. And you'll want to share that with the world around you. Instead of penetrating a specific form, you'll want to penetrate the whole world with love. Not to extract some pleasure out of it, but to give love, because the more you give, it comes back to you. And you don't do it with that intention. There's no record keeping. There's no, I'm giving this, so I expect this in return. It's not even that. It's just naturally your way of being. It's a way of perceiving and being with the world. It's feeling. It's being in tune with, you could say, the heart chakra. You can think in terms of energy that way. Think in terms of the chakras. That's a good conceptual model that allows us to think beyond identification with limitation with the body. Now, there's nothing wrong with the body, but it's very limited. And in order to transcend the limitations of the body, you want to think in terms of energy. We want to embody this divine energy, this essence within us. Then we're one step closer by embodying the semen, by understanding its importance, significance. One semen cell can create a human life. That's just think about that for a moment, for a while, and that'll be enough incentive for you to hopefully to not just want to release it willy-nilly, to consciously transmute that energy into something where you can be and act productively, presently. Now we can think of productivity in terms of presentness. how present you are with each activity determines your sense of productivity, your sense of harmony in the present moment. It's a beautiful blessing to be alive now, to be here, to be incarnate in this human form, which allows us to be conscious, to rise beyond that which is animalistic in nature, to understand that we're an extension, we're connected to nature, but at the same time, we're transcendent to nature. And the human specifically has the capacity to not only understand that intellectually, but to embody that and to witness that, to know that. Again, knowing is not necessarily accumulating. We can gain a better understanding of the world around us by, in terms of mental understanding, there's always that intellectual aspect, that mental element within us as part of this human experience. And in order to satiate that, we may want to read books and may want to understand things intellectually, and that's okay. But there comes a time when you realize that that can be excessive, and it often is in the modern world, where people go on YouTube and they're just watching that's why the short videos get more views, because people want that quick dopamine fix. They, want something quick, instant gratification, instant pleasure. They don't want to take a second, take more than, a few seconds, and really try to understand something. That may take a little bit more effort. That may actually require not just accumulating something intellectually, but actually putting it into practice. I say they, and I'm not speaking for everybody, of course. I'd never do that. You don't want to make broad generalizations, because we're all individual expressions. We all have that element of individuality, and that's another, I'd say, advantage or blessing of being human. To be conscious that, wow, I'm simultaneously embodying this sense at times of individuality, but also there's that sense of connectivity. And there doesn't have to be a discrepancy between understanding that we have that element of individuality, and at the same time there is no separation. I want to keep flowing, keep going. These flies are not permitting. Thought wearing a long sleeve would help, but man, they're relentless, persistent. Everybody's a seeker in a sense. Some persist, and others may give up. Never give up. If you're watching this till now, watch until the end. Obviously, something's resonated, and we can leave it on that. Never give up. Understand that you're here for something. You have a purpose. Whatever that is, I can't tell you. At least as far as your individual purpose, your personal purpose, but I can tell you that we all share a similar purpose, and that is to realize our infinite essence, presence. It's always with us. Even if you don't feel it, it's with you. I promise you. And don't take my word for it. But experience it for yourself. Witness it. Simply sit with yourself. Close your eyes. Feel it. Once you understand the situation, that this is eternity, that there is no other moment than right now, that we can think and plan and project onto the future as much as we want to, but when we get there, it's still going to be now. When you really understand that, it allows you to just simply sit with it, to just be, to witness the essence that you embody. You know, everything for your happiness is already here. It's already here now. It's within you. It's all around you, wherever you may be, even if it may be perceivably chaos or, not optimal experience, circumstances. But we don't want to identify again with the content of consciousness, because circumstances don't make a man. They reveal him to himself. They're a reflection of you, how you perceive the world. Somebody messaged me yesterday saying, man, it's a dirty world we live in. I said, literally, this is what I said. I said, clean over this way. Anyway, hope all is well, brother. Because you might think it's a dirty world, but as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing dirty about it. This is perfect. You're going to see the world and perceive the world around you as you are within yourself. And as we embody this powerful essence, this energy within us, committing to the semen retention journey, you're naturally going to live with that sense of harmony. You're going to be connected to that presence always. Because that energy allows us to live sacredly. Sacred energy exchange. When you're not exchanging that with somebody else, you become that yourself. You be it. And therefore you know it. You are it. It's something that you are, not something that you conceptualize. Now, of course, given enough attention, concentration, and idea, can become something that you are as well. And as you retain this energy within you, you say the energy body is one step up from the mental body, imagination. That energy empowers the imagination so that your attention is all the more powerful and your thoughts can influence reality. Especially when you're living with that sense of harmony. And it's not so much a personal, individual will, but you're more in tune and aligned with divine will, with the plan that God has for you, your purpose that you discover within, not necessarily determined based on outside information that you accumulate from without, your parents telling you you should be this, and the world telling you should be that, and school telling you you're really good at this. And no, you really want to, like I said, go within and listen close and discover your purpose that God has for you, that this presence wants to lead you, guide you, and direct you. You don't do the directing as an individual personal will. Let that direct you, direct your life. And as it does, it will protect you. And embodying this sacred energy protects you. It expands your aura, your energy field, to not only connect with the field around you, to feel that sense of connectivity, but also to protect you from incoming energies that may not be so harmonious. They may be, we could say, lower frequency. People operating from that earth element, or even maybe that's not even active. You know, in the lower astral realms, those levels of consciousness, which, you know, are rooted in the lower level emotions like anger and desire and fear and apathy and grief and shame and even pride. Pride is a lower level emotion. It is that sense of individuality. Oh, me, I'm doing this. Which is not that sense of harmony. Now, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it short. The fly's really getting at me. I love you guys. I really do. I love making these videos. It's something that I thoroughly enjoy. And even if, you know, a few of you liking them, that's great. That gives me incentive to keep making them. So I know there's a couple of you on here that like them consistently, and I appreciate you. I'm definitely not trying to be, I don't want a huge audience. So it's perfect. I like small little community, and, you know, I hope some of the stuff I say resonates with you. And as soon as I get a new phone, I don't have to, I'm choosing to get a new phone so I can make these videos specifically for that reason, because I want the sound quality to be optimal, to be the highest quality possible. And right now there is a little bit of static in the background, like I said in my last video. It's just a little bit, not too much, but I noticed it, so I figured somebody else might as well. And I actually went to Apple. I was like, wanted to replace the speaker, and you know, they said, might as well just get a new phone. It's only $100 more. So I'm like, I'm gonna do that. But right now, you know, income isn't what it was even, you know, a few months ago. Just being honest with you. Not that you need to know. Now we're getting into details, but hey, I'm a very open dude. And, you know, that's why it's been delayed. Otherwise, I would have got a new phone by now. Stop selling weed. I made that decision consciously. I made a vow that as soon as my book is published, a vow between me and the Most High, always stay true to, just like the semen retention vibe, the semen retention commitment, my commitment to that journey, never releasing my seed. That's another vow I made. But, you know, it's personal. Just mention that to say that, you know, the stuff that I speak on is from personal experience. Something that, you know, I'm living. So it's not just something that I'm regurgitating. I saw a woman on here talking about semen retention. I'm like, you know, I didn't even click on the video. I saw the, you know, woman and semen retention in the title. I'm like, what information does she have to offer on semen retention other than that which she's accumulated from the outside and may have heard from, you know, maybe she's a wife of a husband who practices it and she kind of has first-hand experience in that way. But that'd be the closest thing to a first-hand experience that a woman could possibly speak on semen retention, because, you know, her and her husband are, in a sense, one. But anyways, I think that's all. God bless, guys. flies.